The film begins in a future where humanity has developed the ability to manipulate time using advanced technology. However, such technology is heavily regulated, and time travel is only allowed for specific purposes, such as scientific research or fixing anomalies in time. Ravi, the protagonist, a brilliant but disillusioned time engineer working for a secret government agency responsible for regulating time travel. Neha, Ravi's wife, a historian, who works closely with him but is unaware of the true nature of his work. Dr. Aryan, a rogue scientist who has developed a way to travel through time without the strict oversight of the government, and whose actions threaten the very fabric of time itself. Inspector Arvind, a skeptical law enforcer who begins investigating the unexplained events happening around time anomalies. One night, Ravi is called in for an emergency mission where a time anomaly has occurred. A small group of civilians, led by Dr. Aryan, has managed to break into a restricted lab and use the time cutter. This group begins altering past events for personal gain. As a result, time begins to unravel, causing horrific distortions. People start vanishing from reality, historical events get rewritten, and the fabric of time itself begins to collapse. Ravi, alongside a team of time engineers, is tasked with tracking down Dr. Aryan and correcting the damage done. However, as Ravi begins investigating the changes to the timeline, he realizes that the consequences of tampering with time are far more complex than they had imagined. The very act of repairing time creates more paradoxes, and he becomes increasingly torn between doing his duty and questioning the ethics of time manipulation. Neha, unaware of Ravi's role in the government's time project, begins noticing strange changes in their life. She starts having déjà vu experiences, remembering events that didn't happen in her current reality. As Ravi's work grows more secretive, Neha's curiosity about his activities leads her to uncover the truth. She learns that Ravi has been involved in time manipulation, and the changes to the timeline are starting to affect their personal lives. In a pivotal moment, Neha discovers that she is part of an alternate reality, one in which she never met Ravi and never existed in his life in the first place. This revelation forces Ravi to face the harsh reality of his actions. The changes to the timeline were not just affecting the world at large, but his very existence with Neha. Meanwhile, Dr. Aryan continues to travel back in time, creating paradoxes that alter major historical events. His goal is to rewrite history to prevent a future catastrophe he believes will lead to the destruction of humanity. However, his attempts at altering time create a ripple effect, erasing and rewriting entire civilizations and erasing people from existence. His vision of the future is an idealized world, but at the cost of every person he changes or eliminates. Ravi confronts Dr. Aryan, and they engage in a battle not only for control over the time cutter but for the future of humanity itself. Ravi argues that history is fragile and that time cannot simply be rewritten without dire consequences, while Dr. Aryan defends his philosophy, believing that a greater good justifies the destruction of individual lives. As time collapses further, the government launches a full-scale operation to stop both Ravi and Dr. Aryan. Ravi must make a difficult decision: to stop Dr. Aryan from changing the timeline or risk losing everything in his own life, including Neha. The climax involves Ravi using the time cutter one final time to stop Dr. Aryan from erasing critical moments in history, including the creation of the time cutter itself. In an intense confrontation, Ravi manages to reverse the major changes Aryan has made. However, the damage to the timeline is irreversible. Ravi is forced to sacrifice his relationship with Neha in order to reset the timeline entirely. In doing so, he erases their personal connection and ensures that the timeline is restored to its original state, but at the cost of all the memories they shared. The movie ends on a bittersweet note. Ravi, now a stranger to Neha, continues his work with the time agency, knowing the sacrifices he made. The final scenes imply that the cycle of time manipulation could start again, as the technology remains powerful and dangerous. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe my channel, hit like button, and visit the link